Welcome back to Holden's Golden Age of Wargaming with part 1 of our Let's Play of the Battle of Borodino. This is the third Let's Play in my long journey of trying to play through all the SPI classic titles. And this title, we actually go back in time a little bit from Soldiers, 1 month to May of 1972. So this was released 1 month before Soldiers, and it was released about 8 months before Austerlitz, which was the very first title I played. And it's designed by the same designer, John Young. So this looks like this was the title he did before Austerlitz. So we're going back in time a little bit here. But of course, the reason I'm going in this order is because of how I organized my the playlist is in order of weight by Board Game Geek, but I've already talked to you guys about that before. So without any further ado, let's get going. I have just updated the mod, and there is some extras now. Phoenix article, a moves article, and of course I also the article that was in the issue of Strategy and Tactics 32. This doesn't actually have anything to do, I mean, it's not set specifically in Borodino, but it does go over the whole Napoleonic era. It was an interesting read, for sure. It's the only thing I did read. I didn't read the extra articles because they're basically looking to enhance, change the basic game. And I want to play the vanilla game with the errata. And it's a good thing I actually looked at the errata, as I chose to play the Grand Battle game. And the very first thing I noticed was that if I didn't have the errata, I would not be playing where the September 5th special rules restricting Russian movement are in effect. So I'm glad I did read the errata for this. And what does that mean? That means that we're going to start from the very beginning, September the 5th. But the forces that are north of this great redoubt can't be moved for the first 3 turns anyways by the Russians, which will make a huge difference. So just to remind myself, I'm going to draw a line, getting the whole map here. Where do we need to start? I think we need to start there. And we're going to go to there. Yeah, that looks good. So for the Russian player, anything on this side of the line, he can move, has full control of. But the pieces, all the units over here on this side of that white line, cannot be moved, at least for the first 3 turns. However, after starting on turn 4, or 1500 hours, the Russian player will be able to move 1 unit. Then the next turn, 2 units. That includes the first unit that the Russian player picked, and so on up until 5 units. And then as of the 9th turn, which is nighttime, which we'll go over when we get there, but basically you can move, but you can't attack. I don't think you can get within 3 hexes of an enemy unit at night. All you can do is move. So as of that turn, though, turn 9, all the Russian units are released. But that's what I'm playing. I'm not going to play with any optional rules. I'm just going to play the classic Grand Battle scenario. So the optional Moscow militia won't be coming in, and there's another rule about the guard units. Won't be playing with that. However, for the 10th video, as I said before, if you guys chose Borodino for me to replay, I would play with all the optional. I'd put all the optional rules in, probably, most likely. Anyway, so we'll go over the rules as they come up. I'm not going to go over the basics, like what an infantry is, what a cavalry is. I'm going to assume you know those. If not, go back to Austerlitz, watch that. I will go over the rules and where they differ from Austerlitz as it comes up. But we will start with the very first turn. The turn of sequence is very much as basic as you can get. Basically, we have the French movement phase, the French combat phase, then the Russian movement phase, and the Russian combat phase. There's no mutual fire. There's no enemy or friendly phase disruptions. Just good old I go, you go, I attack, you attack. So hopefully I show some progress here from my time playing Austerlitz. Hopefully, for example, I understand how important it is to have a line now, so you can't be flanked. No more what happened to that poor French group at the beginning of the Austerlitz battle, where I lost the whole stack. Hopefully we don't see any of that here. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the rules state that once a player has moved a piece and taken his fingers off of it, he can't take the move back. That's it. They're committed to that move. So what I'm going to play is that once I've moved a unit and placed a marker on it, I can't see something I didn't see before and take it back. Once the marker goes on the unit, I am stuck with it, stuck with whatever I've decided. And that, in combination to the fact that I know I'm making a video and want to keep things moving forward, means that I'm sure I'll make plenty of mistakes. So we don't have to worry about that. All right, so these say here we have 5 of these 2-5. So 2 is the combat strength, 5 is the movement. There's 5 of them, and they're starting in the B entry hexes, and then 1 of this weaker 1-5 cavalry that starts in the B entry hexes. And the B entry hexes are right here. For about a while, I was looking at the rules, and I didn't know when reinforcements came on if it cost a movement point for them to enter the entry hex. But then, once again, the errata came to the rescue. So I guess I'm not playing these games as they were originally. I am using one advantage of being a modern gamer, and I'm going to be playing all the SPI games with all available errata that was supplied by SPI over the years. So, but anyways, in the errata it says that placing entry units on the proper entry hex requires no expenditure of movement points. So I know that I can put these units on and then move their full movement rates. So I haven't looked at this too much. I try to do these live, these videos, and I try to react as I go. I know Austerlitz, I was planning out my moves ahead of time, but I'm not going to do that anymore. We're going to go with it. I'll keep things moving forward, like I said, not too much humming and hawing, or at least I'll try not to. All right, so we're going to put these guys, these cavalry units here. And we have one more, and I see we have a forest hex here, which we can't go through. That's one of the differences between this and Austerlitz. Forest hexes, can't move through them. You can't shoot over them. They block line of sight for artillery as well. So an artillery couldn't be here and fire an enemy unit on the other side here. So, but that's, as far as I know, that's the only thing that blocks line of sight for artillery. Artillery have a 2 hex range. The only way to get through woods is on these road hexes. That's it. That's the only way you can move through woods. So that's going to cause us to separate our forces right at the beginning. So I'm going to put him there, put this weaker cavalry unit in behind. And I believe we're ready to play the first turn. But 1 second, I just want to get the proper ambiance going here so that I'm in the proper war gaming mood. There we go, there we go. Okay. So, now, knowing what I learned from Austerlitz, I don't want to overextend myself here and let them get 2-to-1, 3-to-1 odds. So, you can go 1, 2, and then it costs, just like Austerlitz, +1 to your movement to go across the stream. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we do have zones of control. And this guy back here is one I'm more concerned with. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can't get across the stream. So only this guy can. So if we go, I'd like to take that town. 1, 2. I'd like to get in that town because my defense doubles. So I'm going to move this guy up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And did I do my marker? Pretty sure I did. So there. I cannot take that move back. I'm committed. As soon as I put the marker down, that's it. So this guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Where do I go back? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want to go right up to that stream? Probably not. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play it safe. And 1, 2, 3. We'll stay back where this guy can't get to us. Because what would happen is the Russian player would get both units on one of ours getting 2-to-1 odds. We look at the CRT, 2-to-1. That's the first, yeah, like there's those exchanges. And I see this is like Austerlitz, where you either want 3-to-1 odds or 6-to-1. You don't want 4 or 5-to-1 because you have double the chance of rolling exchange units. So 3-to-1 odds is probably what I'll most of the time be trying to. That'll be the magic number I'll be trying for. And this guy will go 1, 2, and that's it. And these guys. Well, this cries out to me bottleneck because we can only go through here or up through this road. So very easy for the Russians to contain us. However, I would like to see the Russians have to pull some units off of this area so that he has less to fight us with there. So we're going to try to see if we can sneak on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and that is the French's movement phase. I'll remove markers. And there's no fire. I don't have any artillery yet. It's the French. Alright, so we're going to turn the board around and now see things from the Russian side. So how do we win this game? I guess I should go over that. So for the French, they want to exit. There are 60 points of units between this road and this road. We need to get 60 points of units off to get a decisive victory. We get a, I guess I'll need to go look. See the victory conditions. And I know the Grand Battle uses September the 7th victory conditions. So for a substantial victory, we have to have twice as many or more combat point losses, or Russians need to have twice as many more, or more combat point losses as the French, with a minimum of 40 combat points. And then a marginal victory, we have to occupy all redoubt hexes on the map at the end of the game. And then the Russians, of course, are the opposite of that. So that's what the French are trying to do. So, and these redoubts are basically fortifications. If the French attacks through the forward 3 hexes of a redoubt, the Russian unit, only the Russian, French units cannot use the redoubt. In fact, if they occupy them for more than a turn, they will destroy the redoubts. The Russians can rebuild them if they occupy them at night. But if the French attacks unit in a redoubt fortress, basically the unit in there gets to double its combat value, plus add the intrinsic value of the redoubt itself. So only on defense, but even when the unit does get a bonus on attacking, I believe, it gets to use its normal combat strength, but it gets to add whatever the intrinsic value of that redoubt is to its attack. So these are going to be what the French need to, these are the nuts the French need to crack. Okay, so we only have to worry about these units on this side of the white line. So the Russians seize this cavalry over here, so we're going to go like this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And let me get my markers for the Russians. Alright. And we can't move these units quite yet, so I'm going to move one up towards the great redoubt here. So 1, 2, 3. Now here, it would be nice to attack that unit, but I don't want to get too far forward either as the Russians. So this infantry is going to move up to the town. This artillery is going to move up behind them. And when I see I have a weak side here. We don't want them to get in and around and get behind that redoubt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we also have to worry about this. I haven't really looked at how the reinforcements from French come in. So I'm going to be like the Russians. I don't quite know what's going to happen here. Very much a first time playing of the game. Alright, so they're not going to move either. I would attack, but the French didn't come up far enough, so I can't get both of them on it. But I'm worried about this here. We don't want... This is a weak spot, isn't it? I'm going to have to move this cavalry around. Well, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll move this guy around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm worried about that hex right there. And this guy here, we'll just move up 1, 2. Keep the pressure, possibly flanking him if we can. And here, I think we need to possibly come up. This seems to be, to me, a weak position. However, I don't want to give it up too easily at the same time. And we can pull back in front of the French. So I'm going to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know the stream's going to slow me down. But 1, 2, 3, 4. As for the rest of it, maybe I'll move this. Well, let's go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make sure that. Okay. Of course, we don't have to worry about it yet. Roads do not do anything to your movement in this game, just like Austerlitz. These two aren't moving. And I think that's it. I think that's it. And then once again, there's no combat. So pretty quick first turn, which is good because I'm doing the introduction as well. What other differences are there? I went over the redoubts. Cavalry I went over, didn't I? But they're basically just faster versions of infantry in this game, unlike Austerlitz, where they had that ability to get out of an enemy zone of control. Yeah, I don't know of anything else. The bridges and fords, these areas here, these are bridges, these are fords. If you're attacking across them, you have to have your attack value or your combat strength for the attacker. That doesn't sound very good. Except for artillery. Artillery can attack across the river without a bridge or a ford without taking a without having to have their combat value. Jeez, finally got that out. I think the fords also are, yeah, cost 2 additional movement points across the ford exile, so that really slows a unit down going across slows. Is there anything else that's different from Austerlitz? Not a lot. It's still the same basic system. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Just with there's a couple of things of Chrome that aren't there. Like the biggest thing I noticed is the cavalry. The cavalry are not what they were in Austerlitz. Not that I ever used their special ability. I don't think I did. So that is it for the first turn. So we'll move the game turn to the second turns, and that's where we'll pick up the next video. As I said before, I try to have videos out every other day. However, there might be a delay with the next video because I live in Atlantic Canada, and we have a Hurricane Lee that's coming up towards us. And it's right now its path is going to go pretty close to where I live, so might be losing power for an extended period of time, which means might be more than just a couple days for the next video. But anyway, other than that, guys, take care, have a great night, and I'll see you next time.